épisode 14, la minute à Max 2022. On va avoir du fun. Épisode 14, je rencontre les gens de RoadWarrior qui viennent nous parler du Diesel Decoder. En gros, ça va être un outil de diagnostic rapide, de poche, si on peut dire ça comme ça. Puis j'ai cru bon rentrer en contact avec les gens de RoadWarrior. Puis on a eu la chance d'avoir Dave qui s'est joint, qui a accepté l'invitation, qui va se joindre à nous. Et voilà. Hi Dave, how you doing?
Hi, good morning. Hi Maxime, thanks for having me on.
Hi, no problem. Thanks for accepting the invite. Real pleasure.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so just to introduce myself, I'm Dave, the sales director here at RoadWarrior. We manufacture primarily DPFs, catalysts, and SCRs for the heavy-duty trucking industry. And today we're going to talk about our Diesel Decoder, where we have partnered up with Diesel laptops to get some, basically turn your cell phone into a very powerful diagnostic scan tool, which can help a lot of your viewers hopefully fix their truck right the first time and help diagnose what the root cause of the problem is.
All right. So you're talking about diagnostic problems. To put the normal, casual, potential customer of your product in situation, let's say a default call appears on the cluster in the dash, and he plugs in your Diesel Decoder, and what it can expect from it, and what kind of info there is for him.
Sure. In the kit, you get, like I said, it's wireless, so you connect it to your phone. Once you have it all synced up, you open up the app. You download it from the Google Play or Apple Store, and then you'll get a home screen, and you'll have a variety of tabs where you can see if you're having a fault code. You have the DTC tab. There's vehicle information, component data, trip data, even emissions data. So, for example, if it's a fault code you're interested in looking at, you hit on that, and it'll give you the diagnostic messages. Okay. So it'll tell you whether the active codes are, and then it'll give you FMI and SPN parameters as well. So failure mode identifiers and suspect parameter numbers. So those are things that you can look up, and it'll give you brief descriptions. Okay. And then it'll at least let you know what's going on with the truck, so you can make some real-time decisions.
All right. If let's say the guy doesn't have, or the driver doesn't have, well, I'll back up a little bit. Let's say an owner operator sees an advantage of getting that tool, but he's not familiar with all the terms related to service or maintenance or repair. Is it pretty let's say that with dumb proof, or is it easy to understand?
Yes, it's very user friendly. A lot of the descriptions will give you some general information, and then Diesel Laptops also has a link to Diesel Repair, which is a web-based app that'll give you some repair advice. There is a freemium version for that, but with the purchase of the kit, you'll get a Pro 30-day free trial, and that'll be quite involved. It'll let the users see some very detailed. You can get like wiring diagrams. You'll get step-by-step repair advice, and some very OEM basically standard repair advice. And then if they decide not to, that's a little separate. You'd have to pay a monthly subscription, but you get a 30-day free trial to see how useful that is. But there is a freemium version of the repair that you can maintain, which will give you just a couple lookups and some preliminary information. And if it depends how DIY the owner operator or the truck is, the more they want to do themselves, maybe the more value they'll see in buying the full repair advice. So you have the decoder. You'll get the kit, you'll get the hardware to sync with your device, and then with that, it maintains free and it'll update, so it's future-proof, so it'll stay current and updated with makes and models. And with that, they can view and clear solve fault codes, so that's very useful. At least they can log in and see and get a brief description to at least see what the trouble code is, and then they can investigate further through Diesel Repair or just online and Google those fault codes to see how serious it is. Do I have to pull over and take care of this right away, or can I finish my trip to the U.S. or California, come back, and this could wait till I get home to repair? So at least they can, right. So they can see if how dramatic that fault code is. Is this something I really have to pull over and address right away, or is this something that I need to I can defer till I get back home, because nobody wants to do some heavy repairs far from home, so they can make those real-time decisions.
Exactly. In some place where they're more familiar to. Yeah. I think that's one of the most, after getting a couple of minutes or an hour into your product. I think that's one of the most powerful feature that you can just plan down the road if it's a repair that needs attention now, or you can wait a little bit longer, and this give real good power, good decisions on the owner operator or the driver's hand.
Absolutely, and for a retail price of $465 Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
it's a quite a powerful tool in the palm of your hands, right? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it gives
exactly.
them the that OEM level type of information and access, and not only with the fault codes, but they get a lot of information with that. They can see the vehicle information, so make, model, and VIN number, engine and transmission information, and serial
Okay.
numbers. You'll get vehicle data, mileage information, trip data, fuel economy, even emissions information. How many regions has your vehicle gone through? How many were manual? How many were controlled by the ECM? So really, there's a lot more information they get than just strictly fault codes.
The last things you mentioned were quite interesting, but I want to go back just a little bit before you mentioned about, you talked about briefly about the phone app that they can download, and really what it's all about, what they can expect, and you talked about repair advice also, and what kind of repair advice he can get, or the driver or the owner operator can get from that.
Yeah, in the free decoder app, which you would download from, which is free and included with the kit, the repair advice is a separate app that Diesel laptops offers, where
Mhm.
they call it Diesel Repair. And I mentioned you get a 30-day free trial, and it'll give you very detailed information, such as wiring diagrams to step-by-step repair advice,
Mhm.
and things of that nature. And it can give you quite
So,
valuable information. So
sorry to interrupt, but if a guy kind of does its own repair, or he's able to go a little, he can do a little bit more than
more
a
than the
normal driver can do. He's gonna have fun with that feature.
Oh, absolutely. There'd be a lot of value with it. So, for 30 days, it'll come with a free trial, so they can really delve into the pro version of it,
Okay.
and get all the features and benefits. And then they have an option afterwards. They can stay with the freemium version, which will give them very basic repair advice and at least some description of what's going on. And then they have a standard option where it limits them to the number of lookups that they can do, or the pro version gives them unlimited access to all the repair advice.
Okay.
And those range from anywhere from, I think, $50 US per month to $250 US per month, depends on
Depending
how
on
involved
what.
they want,
Yeah.
what level they want, or they could just stick with the freemium version, which will
Okay.
give them some preliminary basic access. But they get the 30-day
Yeah.
free
They'll
trial
get
to,
they'll get
to
a
basically
big.
get full access, and they can kick the tires to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
something.
They'll
Yeah,
have a big enough sample size to make the good decision afterwards.
to see if there's value in for them,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
exactly.
really depends how involved the either the small fleet or owner operator wants to be. But at the end of the day, the decoder app will at least give them the information, and if they're getting repairs at a shop, they can still log in and see the codes that were there. So they'll get the diagnostic messages, actives, and the red codes. They can see what's cleared, and the diagnostic messages, it's all different parameters. You get DM1, DM2, DM6, like the active, red. DM6 is the emission related codes, and it's all
Okay.
organized for them, just like an OEM would. So at least they can be informed of what's going on, what was cleared, what was viewed, what was repaired, and they can validate that for themselves.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's I think that's interesting well, that brings me to my next question, which is, do you think it's more of a owner operator tool kind of tools, or it's also suitable for small fleets, mediums, and maybe large fleet as well?
Yeah, I would say there is a full laptop system that you can buy. So I don't want to oversell what this could do. It
No,
will
no.
give, for the price point of $465. It does give unprecedented amount of information, but it's not going to replace a full complete laptop system. So I don't
No.
think it's for a large fleet that has those laptops, complete software system that'll have them. Get much more involved access with, as far as what capabilities they can do when they're troubleshooting. But I think it is for the owner operator, small fleet, or even a very small repair shop that maybe doesn't have the money to invest in that $8,000 to $10,000 laptop system.
No,
This would
okay.
be at least give them some preliminary data, and there are some bidirectional commands that they're launching. For example, a forced regen. So there will be forced regen capabilities with the app. So
Okay.
again, if the driver just they're having some emissions related trouble codes, something problem with the DPF. They could do a forced regen. The idea is you don't want to ignore the issue, but maybe you can do a forced regen just to keep you on the road so you can get that proper service and repair. You don't want to ignore the problem, but at least it'll give them that capability to say, hey, let's do a forced regen, let's get the truck moving, and I can make it, the end of my trip, or at least to a proper repair facility, so you
say
can
the next
diagnose
dealer
the
is in
problem.
250 miles, do a force regen and go reach the next dealer and get your repair down
Correct,
there.
and then you get the proper repair. And I've had some guys call and say, "Hey, I can override a D rate and things like that." And I said, "Well, hold on. We're not here to override or circumvent anything. This is not what we don't want to misrepresent what the tool can do. It'll give you real time information. It'll give you the description of the fault code, so you can look them up, and at least the driver or the repair shop can make some real time decisions and some informed decisions of what's serious, what I have to pull over for right away, or what can wait. This is not as a serious code. I can finish my trip and fix this when I get back home. Those types of situations.
Give you a better and clearer picture of what's the problem. Yeah,
correct.
Better act on
And
it,
possibly avoid some expensive tows if they can keep themselves on the road till those extra few hundred miles to get where they need to be going. Versus
we've all heard the horror story of like the guys or a light pops up in the dash. Oh, okay, I'll stop by the next dealer, and before you reach it, like everything is going crazy and bad stuff happens, and that's where it gets costly.
Absolutely. And when that mill light comes on, you don't want to wait. Once you get to a D-rate situation, it's too late. So you want to, this way they can, as soon as that light comes on, they can plug in and not ignore that light. If you ignore that light for hours and days, then you're going to get yourself to and the reason the truck is D-rating is to protect the after treatment system and the engine, right? So you don't want to cause any damage. So this way they can make those decisions sooner rather than later, versus sometimes they'll wait days or a week later. By then you've ignored it too long. And
the light always pops up, or it's nothing, or
I've been driving like this for a couple of weeks. It's not a problem. But once
we've heard all the excuses.
If you ignore it too long, eventually the truck's going to take over. Once you go to a D-rate or a 5 mile an hour limp, at that point, this is to give the information in in your hands, so you can make those decisions before you get to that catastrophic critical event. You kind of be more proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing you mentioned was the getting a clearer picture of your truck, trip specific data, fuel economy, driver productivity. You mentioned it earlier. I want to dive into it. What kind of info related to the performance of his truck the guy that has your product can have access to?
The free decoder software will not only give you the fault code and descriptions and diagnostic messages, but then you have full vehicle information. And if you're a small repair shop, it's not limited. It's one kit per device. So it's tied to a cell phone or a tablet. But you can view an unlimited amount of trucks. So if you're a small fleet with a handful of trucks, it'll organize all that trip data. So you can see, you'll have the VIN number, make, model of the truck, engine, transmission. You'll have parameters such as coolant and oil temperatures, oil pressures. You'll have some emissions information about how many regens the vehicle has done, the time of regens. You'll have productivity information such as fuel economy, instant. Trip, vehicle life, fuel economy type of
stuff
information.
Sorry to interrupt, but stuff like art braking events or something like that. Is that something you can get the info of?
Yeah, that also is part of the productivity. They'll give you hard braking events too, so you can see if if it is a smaller fleet that won't see what the drivers do. They'll see if they had a hard braking event. It will register that, and you can view that type of information.
Yeah, get a good feel of the driver behavior as well. Yeah.
Correct, and the fuel economy, which I'm sure if it's not an owner operator and it's a small fleet, they want to see that they're not how many hours of operation, how many how much idling they're doing, right? So total engine operating hours, you can get all that data too. So you have a lot of historical data. So it's not just fault codes; it gives a lot of vehicle information and history that they could track and record, and also you can email those reports. So there's a reporting feature, so those reports can be emailed and transferred as well outside of the app.
Oh wow, okay. So you can even get reports afterwards.
Correct. There's a reporting tab, so you can break down the reports and sort of export the data that you want to maybe analyze or track for maintenance and record keeping purposes.
So it it gets you all the information you need about your fault code, your DTCs, but it gives you way more than that.
Yeah, it's more than just a fault code app. Exactly, it gives a lot of vehicle history and information, and like I said, for that price point of $465 retail price Canadian, that's it's a very powerful tool. And the
Yeah,
idea is at least it's in the palm of your hands. Even if it was a mobile repair tech, if they want to have something where they don't want to bring the full laptop system, you
yeah,
can
yeah.
you can plug in and at least see what's going on with the vehicle.
And really, it's a small thing. I want to show people up what really it's all about. But this one,
Yeah.
I think
So you
you
have the standard 9-pin J1939
yep,
connection, or that's the other one you have in your other hand is the OBD2 adapter. So
yeah,
depending what connection you have, you can either go with the standard 9-pin, or it has the adapter for the OBD2
okay.
connection too. So it depends, whether you have an older truck, or Volvo Mac, for example, may have a OBD2 standard. So you'd be able to plug in either way.
All right. So everything is in that. The
Correct. And it's all
magic happens here.
it's all wireless, and with Bluetooth, it'll communicate with your cell phone, or a handheld tablet.
All right. Well, it's a pretty powerful tool. We think about as a when we see Diesel Decoder, it's all about the DTCs and the fault code that appears. But that's why I wanted to meet with you guys, because it seems like it can do a lot more stuff than what we first think of, or the first impression of it. And I think it's pretty for small to owner operator small fleets. It comes in handy to get like a clear picture without investing thousands and ten thousands of dollars in big laptops or equipment. And I think it's really helpful for them to get information and input on the status of your fleet, and also act on fault code that appears. Yeah, it's really
Yeah, it's all about making an informed decision, and real time decision,
yeah,
so that when you see the light, you panic. You don't know what it is. Is this a big
yeah,
problem, a small problem? At least you can plug in and see what the ECM is trying to tell you, and then you can react before you get. We want to avoid those stuck on the side of the road situations, derate, and those serious situations. So I'm not saying that's never going to happen, but at least you
no,
can
no, but
plug in right away, and make a real time decision, and an informed decision about what you have to act on today, and maybe what can it's not as too serious. It can wait a few days, or until you get back home.
yeah, that's pretty powerful tool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if they have any questions about it, obviously they can reach out to yourself, or RoadWarrior. You can go on our website, roadwarrior-inc.com, and reach out to us to get information, or call our toll free number 877-897-9759. Hit extension 0 and speak
There you
to
go.
our sales or customer service team if you have any questions about the app or other products and services that we offer.
All right. Well, Dave, thank you very much for accepting the invitation. It was a real pleasure. I wanted to meet with you guys from a little while ago, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to do that episode. Yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, appreciate. Thanks for having me on, and I appreciate you inviting us as well.